The light is at the end of the tunnel. It is draft week 2021. We have made it. It's been the longest 733 days of my life. I know it's not been that long, but it feels like it. So we're 3 days away from the draft. We don't have to talk about it we're at the finish line. That's just a long way to get there. I'm Andrew Pasquini. In the spirit of player comps like we did last week, I am talking to a man who is the size of Devonta Smith with the hands of Tom Brady.
Yes.
Jason Aponte. This is the Sprint Ride Option podcast, part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. Jason, how are you today?
I'm good. That's actually very, very fair pro comp. And that's the best part about it is that, everybody always wants to talk about legs. Yeah, I'm skinny, but I got some work to do with my hands and everything. Also, for anybody who's interested, and we'll talk a little bit more about Andrew's second pro day, I am still sore all over.
I had you run a lot of routes. If it makes you feel better, I'm pretty sore, and all I did was throw a football. So that's how out of shape I am. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. We haven't sat here and advertised that we're the podcast of athletes. We're the podcast of perfectly average guys, and there's nothing wrong with that, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
Apparently, we're taller than the average person, but I'll digress on that. We'll take questions at the end of the episode like we usually do. So if you guys do have questions regarding what we did on Saturday, that's fine. But this is a 49er podcast. We're here to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. And Jason, what if I told you that I spent another one of my lunches today watching John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talk?
I would tell you that I spent that same time putting my daughter in the room with an iPad so I could sit and listen to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan talk.
So a lot happened. So I guess I'll start. I'm just going to dive right in. This is one of those press conferences that they said nothing. They said absolutely nothing. But if a certain thing happens on Thursday, Mac Jones getting drafted by the 49ers at 3, that would be that thing. This press conference told us everything we needed to know. It really felt like, to me at least, and I know everybody takes they take it how they want to take it, right? However they want to work it. This really felt like the first of maybe a couple of, hey, Mac Jones is the guy, be ready for it. Press conferences. That's how I took it. So I'm interested to see if that's how you took it. I know I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because that'll spoil part later in our podcast. I know we both know how we feel this draft's going to go. Jason, how did you feel the vibe with the press conference before we get into specific quotes?
Well, I didn't really expect much from it because I don't know if everybody's aware John Lynch has one of these right before the draft, but obviously the focus is on this now because they have pick 3. They weren't going to really divulge anything. Mm-hmm. I just felt a little bit of a defensive vibe when it came to the way Kyle was answering questions. Seemed like he was a little bit upset that people are even trying to hint at what the pick would be. Like he was really upset about that. And then, this is the quote that I keep going back to. That's like crazy to me. When asked about, the quarterback being on the roster next year, this whole thing of, I don't know if we're going to be alive on Sunday. I was like, well, geez, Kyle, that went dark really fast. My God, man. Like, I don't know why, and then the other thing is too, Kyle Shanahan is well aware of 49ers Twitter, whether that's through burners, whether that's through someone letting him know, he's got his finger on the pulse of what the idea, the large consensus around this pick will be. Yeah. And Kyle almost looked like, I don't really care what you guys think at all, and I'm still going to do what I want to do. So whether that fits your narrative of Mac at 3, whoever you want, you can take that either way. But either way, Kyle sounded like he was fed up, and he's tired of letting people try to make a decision for him.
Well, so you bring up the I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday. Yeah. And that was the first sign I actually got that he was tired of the questions, because the question, and I'm going to read it all out just so everybody knows. The question was, if I could squeeze in 2, one is just, can you say with certainty that Jimmy Garoppolo will be on the roster Sunday? Also, I'm sure you guys have thought about this for decades, but particularly now, just why is it, as you know, a lot of commas, contractions going on here. Even quarterbacks selected with the top 3 pick. It's kind of a 50-50 proposition. I would assume all those guys, top 3 quarterbacks, have the talent. What would you think are the 1 or 2 things that prevents the other 50% from making it in the NFL, intangible wise or otherwise? And I'm on the 49er web zone. They have a great transcript of what everything was said. And the thing they missed was Shanahan spending like a minute going, that question was so long. What was even the first part of the question?
Yeah, what was it?
What are we, what? And just kind of the way he bounced back to that, he's like, I don't really want to answer this question. That's the vibe I got, which led to the amazing, I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday, so I can't guarantee who will be on the roster Sunday. So that goes for all of us. And then he goes, second of all, now I've already forgotten your second one. What was it? Like, it was interesting because wasn't this press conference supposed to be just John Lynch until this morning?
Right. So it was, but then I feel like all of this stuff came out and Kyle Shanahan was like, okay, now I've got to get out there and say something as well too. So there's something about what's going on right now that's rubbing him the wrong way. Either he's upset that someone's nailed it, or he's just upset that people think he knows what he's going to do. Either way.
Yeah, I really hope what it was is he shaved his beard this morning. Because Cool Kyle is the one with the beard who's going to be friendly, like the previous press conference where he.
Do you notice the two?
He's like, "Hey, I would swipe right on Kirk Cousins on Tinder." Absolutely, yeah, I would. And today he shaves the beard and he's just like, "Yo, I don't want to do this." So maybe beard Shanahan's cool. Like it's like good cop, bad cop in one.
Dude, watch that press conference. Watch this press conference.
Yeah,
two completely different vibes. The first one was glowing, happy. And this one, he was so much on edge, man. It's so crazy to see that. And I don't know if it has to do with the beard. I'm much happier now that I have a beard. People show me a little bit more respect. People think that I'm a little bit older. So I get that part. When it's gone, everybody starts to ID you again. You can't get a drink at a bar or anything like that without being hassled. So I understand that. Maybe it was the beard. Maybe it was the beard that's got him in a bad mood.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday. That is such a, like, honestly, I love that quote so much.
I get what he was trying to say is that you can't predict day to day, but why did you say that like you were Thanos? Like, I don't understand that. Like, he started talking in like a Thanos monologue, and I was just like, Kyle, what's going on, buddy? Are you all right, man? Everybody always asks who's the pick at 3, not how are you, Kyle Shanahan?
Dude,
how have you been?
Listen, man, if you close your eyes and I said, okay, we are listening to a true crime podcast, we're listening to Last Podcast on the Left or My Favorite Murder, whichever one, and you close your eyes and I'm going to read this quote, I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday, so I can't guarantee who will be on our roster on Sunday. Like, I just feel like that is a quote that, like, some serial killer has said at some point. I can't guarantee you that anybody in the world will be alive. Like, it's such a good quote, and I love it. Like, I am mocking this because I love it so much. Like, it's a very good quote. I didn't expect him to get all philosophical and dark on us, and I love it. I think that's part of what I like about Kyle Shanahan so much is every so often, because like we work, we know about Bill Belichick and how quiet he is and how we kind of just picture him being a robot. And every so often things Kyle Shanahan does, like Lil Wayne's my favorite rapper, or we're all going to be dead on Sunday. It's just like, oh, he's kind of a normal person too sometimes. So it's, can we just spend the whole time talking about that one quote?
That one quote was insane. It was crazy. It started to make the rounds. It's like, I thought I didn't hear it correctly.
Yeah.
And I remember what he was saying, I remember the context he was trying to use it in. It's just, man, why did you choose that? And that leads me to believe that he was a little upset, because that comment seemed off the cuff and he seemed flustered. The 49ers have, let's just be frank, during his time, put up some really bad games. He's never been that upset or defensive after his team got railed on or anything like that. But this press conference, for some reason, had him hot and bothered, man, honestly. And it was weird, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll stop talking about being alive on Sunday or not. As fun as that is,
we'll be fine. You guys are going to be alive on Sunday. I trust me.
Let's talk about some of the actual things that he said that I kind of took away. The very first question, you guys are going to take a quarterback with the number 3 pick. That may be a really popular choice with the fan base, may not be a popular choice. You guys pay attention to the pulse of the fans, kind of asking that. They did everything great. I thought they answered it. And that's one of the things I like most about John Lynch is his media background. He knows how to answer questions like that. Where it gets really interesting is Kyle Shanahan kind of starts, fans' perception, blah, 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 blah. He started talking about, the pick at 12, and then the quote that I stood out most to me. Everyone thinks you did it right, but we made a decision in this process that we felt we needed to get a starting quarterback this year and add that to our team. And I understand that later on in this press conference, he kind of backed off on that, kind of talking about Garoppolo being here and how important it is. But for the very first question for you to come out and say, we felt we needed to get a starting quarterback, not just a quarterback.
And he said it a few times.
A starting quarterback. Yes, it looks like he said the word, and this is just a soft search. He said the word starting 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, he said the word starting a lot. But like even too, not trying to be specific, but I guess I will be. What do you like about Mac Jones? Quote, I like that him, along with 4 other guys, I think is very capable of being our starting NFL quarterback and capable of winning with, not a starting NFL quarterback, specifically possession, our starting NFL quarterback. So, Jason, I'll leave it to you. What the phrasing of starting quarterback, what does that mean to you? And as I said, I know he walked back a little bit on it later in the press conference, but for it to be the first thing that came out of his mouth about the position, what do you think?
First press conference, he slipped up and said starting quarterback, had to pull it back. This one, it immediately comes out. Do not tell me that that rookie is not starting first day one. Okay, yes. Let's just clear that up. Okay, that's not it. That's the Freudian slip. The first time it happens is a Freudian slip. When you say it 5 times after, you mean it. That's it. That's it. Okay, that 2, 5 guys. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Lance, Fields, Mac. 5. So that means you
5.
Think that Trevor Lawrence, there's a shot at him, there's a shot at Zach. So that's the thing too. So while he kind of fanned the flames on the Mac Jones stuff, he also kind of stayed away from it all by saying the 5 guys, honestly. And that's it. It's just, I don't know, man. He just seems so on edge. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I think that maybe somebody has figured out what the move is, and he doesn't like that. He likes to keep everybody in suspense. But that's the vibe that I got from him, and just go back to, like I said, the first press conference and this press conference. Totally different tones, totally different moods. I don't read body language, but there was one question that they asked him, and he was like, yeah, well, I don't, yeah. And I'm just like, dude, chill, sit still. Are you okay? Like, and that's what's, I mean, I'm not a body language reader, but for a guy who's always calm and cool, and I think Akash tweeted this because he's covered press conferences before. Kyle looked like this. Like, and I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
this is a good question.
Yes.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the donation. Why didn't someone ask if there's a leak? That probably would have sent him over the edge, honestly, if you asked that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that probably would have sent him like crazed.
Yeah, that's one of those where, like, if you ask it, you kind of know what answer you're gonna get. Like, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, there's a leak here. Like, that's one of the things. You mentioned his body language. One of the things I noticed in terms, and I agree with you on it. It doesn't look like you want to be there. Kind of near the end of it, they have. I don't know who's doing it at this point. I don't know if it's obviously not Bob Lang, the person who says, "Hey, couple more questions."
Couple more. He's nicer than Bob Lang, apparently.
And one of them was, a couple more questions, and then there was like a 5-second pause, and you could see Shanahan like grab his coffee and start to go, and then somebody asked the question, and he had to set it back down, answer the question. The second they said, "Okay, we're done," 4:40 time, he was out of there. So he definitely didn't want to be there. So I don't know if it was he was annoyed somebody guessed something right. He has to even talk about it again because he pretty much said what he said last time. He didn't say anything different. Jason, you got a point. I see you raising your hand. I like it.
Yeah, I wanted to do that. One more thing that I found that I thought was interesting. When John Lynch was talking about the process, right, the evaluation process, he says, well, yeah, you know what? Kyle's a genius, though, so I always defer to him. Are you trying to make sure that you stay out of the way of what this pick is, just so your head's not on a pike at the end of this because of the decision? Felt like John was giving himself an out right there to say, listen, man, I have thoughts. I have who I think. Ultimately, I'm going to defer to Kyle, as almost saying like, dude, if this doesn't work, don't come blame me. Yeah. Honestly, that's what it felt like. It felt like him just saying like, boom, like here, like look, and look, I'm not trying to give anybody doom and gloom, but it felt like they were trying to prep people for an unpopular decision.
Well, so let me play devil's advocate to that point.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, actually. I got that vibe too, but let me just play devil's advocate. John Lynch, Hall of Fame safety, a defensive guy. Kyle Shanahan, very well known for his offensive prowess, understanding of an offense, knows the perfect guy for his offense. So that could even be a thing that, like, hey, if there's a defensive guy, if we need a defensive guy in the first round, John gets that pick, where if we needed an offensive guy, Kyle. So I could see that being the case too. Another thing I wanted to mention, you said it earlier regarding when he was specifically asked about Mac and he brought it back to the 5 other quarterbacks, and you saying, hey, that could mean, it's not Mac. He wants to bring the attention to everybody else. I'm going to play devil's advocate on that point, because I agree with you on that he was trying to bring it back to the 5 other quarterbacks, either A, to say, hey, it's not Mac, or B, to say, well, it's Mac and we don't want you guys to know. The other thing that I took as the pick is Mac, and I'm not saying that the pick is Mac, is him kind of saying, and I can't find the exact quote. He said, we traded 2 picks to get him. I know some people say 3, but we traded 2 picks to get him. And that felt weird, because now he's trying to control the narrative of, well, no. You can't say we traded 3 first-round picks to get Mac Jones. We only traded 2 to get Mac. So that was another quote that jumped out to me. Like, he's saying something without saying anything. And we're kind of proving my point here, Jason. We've talked about all these quotes, and we've said both sides of every quote. These quotes mean nothing until they mean something, and they mean something until they mean nothing. And that's all it is. We can talk about every single quote, every single sentence in this, and we're going to take a million different ways. And I think that's kind of the point, is to confuse everybody.
Yeah. And then, the other part that really throws a monkey wrench into everything, and I see it in the comments, is a good call by Jamal. Drew Brees, you want Drew Brees with Lamar Jackson's legs? Well, I'll tell you what, in my very amateur quarterback analysis, that is not Mac Jones. Okay. So I don't know if take that, for the Fields people, or for anybody else, or for the anyone but Mac train. That one doesn't jive with me. That one doesn't sit correctly. If that's what he meant, if he meant Lamar Jackson's legs on Drew Brees' body, that's not Mac Jones. It's not. So,
no.
Just saying. No. Just saying.
And it's very interesting, because this is the second time, because I believe he hinted the last, he said something, and I forget the exact quote, the last press conference, he said something along the lines of, you want somebody who can move back there now, you want somebody who can make those off schedule plays. And that also felt like, when he said it previously, kind of a shot at Jimmy's not the guy. But, and even today, when you close your eyes and picture Drew Brees with Lamar Jackson legs, you don't exactly picture Jimmy Garoppolo in that either. So it's another one of those, hey, what we have right now isn't working. And I'm really at a point where I don't believe.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Nobody has Lamar Jackson's speed. Justin Fields runs 4.4.
Ignore that.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Sorry.
We're good.
Sorry. All right. My bad.
We're good. So yeah, I'm after today, I really am more convinced that it just to shift it from, the quarterback draft talk to the current quarterback on the roster. I've become more and more convinced that Garoppolo likely isn't on this roster in the coming weeks, maybe even coming weekend. To me, it wouldn't make sense to have him on the roster after drafting a quarterback with the 3rd pick. So that's my view on it, at least. I don't know if you agree on that.
I mean, honestly, what we can agree on is that this press conference didn't lead anything to anywhere. Honestly, yeah. I don't get it. It's just, everybody's going to take whatever quote that they want to push their narrative. I say #fits my narrative because I'm being funny on Twitter, but that's what people are doing. When you get something that is going to fit your narrative, you're going to take it and run with it. And thank God it's Monday, because it's almost Thursday, and we don't have to keep talking about this anymore.
We don't have to keep talking. Yeah, well, as I said in my tweet, we're talking about the NFL draft part 1032, which, I mean, obviously it makes sense. The Niners have a very high stress pick coming up. It makes sense we're talking about it, but yeah, it's a lot. it's a lot. It's really becoming its own monster, and we're 4 days away. And what's funny is as I tweeted earlier today, like we're talking about finally being able to stop talking about this, but like realistically, the talk only starts with the pick, because whether it's Fields, whether it's Mac, whether it's Lance, whether it's whoever, there's always going to be that comparison going on between those three. So like if the Niners go Fields and Mac ends up having a good rookie year, where we're going to have to open that guy and all that fun stuff that we love to talk about. But hey, we're almost there. Draft's on Thursday. Do we have any final thoughts on the Lynch Kyle press conference? I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was fun to see people overreact to certain things. And, like you said, Thursday is going to show us whether any of this stuff means anything or if it didn't prove a thing. So this is going to be a fun week, man. I'm having a blast. I don't care what anybody says. Like, no matter what happens, if you're expecting a meltdown, don't, because trust me, life goes on. My daughter's still going to need me to change her diaper. I don't care, honestly, that much. I do want to have the guy that I want, but who cares? If I don't make the decision, control what you can control. I don't care, honestly.
Yeah, man. I is this
look, this one's good. Is this a smokescreen or all this stuff that's coming up today? Because here's what's funny. Adam Schefter goes on whose podcast? Someone's podcast. I think his own.
I'll try and find it. I know what you're talking about. I'll find it.
So he says, hey, I think it's Mac, but there's no decision being made, still in the building. But it's so funny how week to week it goes from they're locked in on this guy, but now we don't know. Jeremy Fowler says the decision hasn't been made. People have been tweeting that nobody knows, but yet everybody knows. I think the guy that I want to dunk on the most is Michael Lombardi. That's the dude that I'm going to make sure I go get, because he's so arrogant, and still he's like tripling and doubling down on all of this or whatever. So he better, God help Michael Lombardi if this Justin Fields pick is not a 3. I swear, man, I'm not dunking on nobody else on Twitter. Not regular people who have been in my mentions yelling at me. Michael Lombardi, you better hope you're right, dude, because you can't be that arrogant. You cannot be that arrogant about, what do you know? What do I know? Well, you have all these sources. You better be right, because if you're not, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm sorry.
No. Jason is, boy. I haven't seen Jason this spicy.
I'm on edge now.
He's on edge. Let's calm him down. Yeah, I mean, so I saw a theory today that I don't know if I agree with. I don't know, but it's an interesting one, and I like to present these because, my thing is with mock drafts, and we really take these mock drafts as like the Bible almost. Like whenever people, post a new one, whenever it's PFN or Kuiper, who's the other one, McShay, all those guys, we take it as like their word, like this is what they're reporting, this is what it's going to be. Where I take mock drafts as conversation pieces, as conversation starters,
and still speculation,
and still it's a combination of speculation and starting conversation, all that stuff. And so the smoke screen that I saw today is the Niners could be pumping up Mac Jones so much to really make the Jets confident that Zach Wilson's their guy at 2 and not Justin Fields. So, because I've seen people say, hey, why would the Niners cause smoke screens if it's their pick at 3? It's their pick. They don't have to do this. They don't have to try and convince, because nobody's going to trade up. But that's the other side of it is, what if Justin Fields is actually the guy? The reason they're talking about Mac Jones so much and talking down, not talking down, they haven't said anything negative about Fields, but all the reports have come out about Mac Jones being the pick at 3 is maybe they're just trying to push the thought of Justin Fields being a very good quarterback. You should consider him at 2 out of the head of the Jets. And I kind of like that theory. As I said, I don't know if I agree with it. I think it's a very fun conversation starter. Is that fair?
No, it is. And it's good tinfoil hat stuff, honestly, more than anything, realistically, because then, look, all right, you put it out there that you're in love with, or people have put it out there that you're in love with this guy, right? So certain people think that now at 4, it starts to fall towards you and things like that, or you want to make moves and things like that. So here's what I'll point to. And this isn't my point. This is somebody, I talked to Javi last night on the phone. Remember the 49ers were tied to Mitchell Trubisky the entire time when they were sitting there at 2 and forced the Bears to give up what? I mean, I don't care who they took at 3, but that's the sort of game you play when you put out there that you're putting out there that, hey, this is the guy that we're looking at. Then someone panics on draft day. Someone panics and they move up. Now, I don't, Solomon Thomas wasn't the pick. Obviously, he's not on the team. We don't have to mince words when it comes to that anymore. But the Bears panicked with the idea that the 49ers were going to take Mitchell Trubisky. So if you start to put it out there that Mac Jones is your guy or someone else does, Justin Fields starts to slip in drafts and things like that, and people feel pressed to move up a little bit or maybe talk to you, like they won't move back. But I'm just saying, like, people will keep asking me, what's the advantage of putting out there all this stuff? That's the advantage. You cause chaos. We have already learned that the 49ers wrecked the Carolina Panthers' plans, wrecked them by moving to third. That's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. That's out there. Google it. So we already know that the 49ers have already wrecked people's draft boards. They wrecked the Panthers' draft board so bad that they immediately went and traded for Sam Darnold. Crazy, right? Wasn't it like the next day?
Yeah, something like that.
See how that works? See how funny that is? That's the thing. So, at the same time, we're going to get to the end of the show where we make our prediction of who we got at 3, because now this is it. This is our last show before our live draft show on Thursday. But I just think that people who are saying that it doesn't really matter about any of that, I don't think that that's guided. I think that that's actually, a really good tactic to keep people guessing. And also, one more thing. Albert Breer today put out an article and HT to Akash. Albert Breer said that all the noise coming around, who the 49ers will pick at 3, because it's pretty much a lock of 1 and 2, right? Like the draft starts at 3, like you said.
Yes.
Park Avenue, meaning the NFL headquarters, doesn't like you not having any drama going into your third pick. No one wants to hear, oh, this is our guy, we're going at 3, and then the draft starts at 4. So, I mean, again, tinfoil hat, but Albert Breer is tapped in. And if Albert Breer told you guys that Mac was the pick, the Mac Hive, if he told you that Mac was the pick, you would take that and you would say, oh my God, look what Albert Breer said. But again, doesn't fit the narrative, but it fits mine. That's it. We got one more. We got a donation. Jamal, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Which team do you think Jimmy ends up on? Written another way, which team gets left at the altar and needs a quarterback and might say Jimmy? Love the show. Thank you, Jamal. Appreciate that, man. I think the easiest team to look at is New England. New England's sitting there hoping that Justin Fields slides. Bill's waiting to just like move right up for that. But if they get left at the altar and they get left there, then they've got to make other plans. And that's when I think you'll see day 2 movement towards Jimmy Garoppolo being moved to New England.
Yeah. Yeah, I think New England is the most likely of outcomes. And I'm trying to like make up a team to be like, oh, I can't believe Andrew said that one. That's a weird one. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it.
Nick, appreciate you, bro.
I really don't. I don't think there's going to be a surprise team. I really think it's going to be New England. I know the Bears kind of make sense, but with how much they've tweeted about Andy Dalton being the starter,
Andy Dalton being QB1,
Andy Dalton being QB1. I don't think I really think the only way that he isn't QB1 is if Russell Wilson makes his way towards Chicago. I can't even think of like a half joking team that makes sense. Like
Denver might get left at the altar.
Denver might.
Here's a prediction.
Okay.
Here's a prediction. Okay. If Mac doesn't go at 3, he's not going top 10.
Yeah. I like that one. I think that's something.
I think that's something.
John Lynch said. What was the exact? I forget the exact number, but he's like, yeah. According to our grades, we had 180 draftable players in this draft. And my first thought was, boy, I can't wait till they draft Justin Fields and it comes out that Mac Jones wasn't even on the list of 180. Like, it's going to be something dumb like that, like where we were so stressed out about Mac being the pick and he wasn't even on the Niners' radar. So I don't think that's too crazy of a thought. As I said, and maybe this will lead into our predictions because I have a little spiel I want to say before we make the predictions. If you guys have questions, start shooting them in now because Jason
start shooting them in and we'll take them. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll start taking the questions after we make our predictions. Jason, do you want to make your prediction first? Because I think yours is very cut and dry. I think you've made it very obvious who you want. So go ahead.
Who I want and who's going to be the pick are actually one and the same. Okay. Look, guys, we're here. It's Monday, 9 o'clock, my time. This is it. No more hedging bets. No more, I got this info, I got that info. Justin Fields at 3, still. And I put my money where my mouth is. Plus 650, threw 200 on it. Bring me my 1,300 on Thursday. You guys, Michael Lombardi better pray.
Oh my God!
This does not come.
Let's not go back to Michael Lombardi.
I'm sorry.
You're just gonna get all fired up again, and as much as I like you fired up.
Everybody else does too. They kind of want to see me yell at people, but no, I'm good. Honestly, I'm still sticking with Fields at 3. Honestly, at this point, again, press conferences aren't going to sway me one way or the other. You know what? Also, I don't have info. I don't care. People don't have to tell me like, oh, you don't know anything. Cool. I'm guessing. This is my prediction. I'm going to stand with it. We'll cut this clip and y'all could roast me after if it doesn't happen, but I'm not going to waver. I'm not wavering and I'm not going to be one of those flip-floppers. I don't care what's being put out there. I remember a time when Quinnen Williams was the pick over Nick Bosa. I remember a time when nobody knew about Trent Williams. I remember a time when nobody knew about Jimmy Garoppolo. Now you expect me to believe that these people, these NFL media people, have nailed it when there's only 3-4 people, including the owner, who know the pick. Now you guys are leaning towards, however, it's all speculation based on what you think Kyle Shanahan is looking for. I'm not buying it. It still feels at 3. Andrew, the floor is yours, bro.
So I'm going to say words and I. So here's my thing. I don't hate Mac Jones. I don't hate him.
Nobody does. It's
and
not
nobody
personal.
does. Nobody does. It's not personal. My thing is with Mac Jones. I would have loved him at 12. I would have loved him at 12. 12 would have been probably the sweet spot for him. Even now, even with the Dolphins at 12 or whoever the Eagles at 12.
Go Twisted Ever. Thank you for the donation. And yes, man, you with it.
I wouldn't hate Mac Jones at 12. Now, I don't like Mac Jones at 3. Could he still be the pick? Yes, very much so. I don't think he's a guy you trade up. Now, the other thing I want to say, and this is regarding if the pick is Mac Jones. You could be upset that it's not, and I'm not talking to you, Jason. I'm talking to you, the collective.
Yep.
You can be upset that it wasn't.
Sorry.
Quarterback collective, what?
There it is. Another tinfoil moment. My bad. Guy.
No, I'm talking about the collective you. You can be upset that it's not your guy. If it ends up being Mac, you're all in right to say, I am upset because I preferred Justin Fields. I preferred Trey Lance. What you can't do is you can't say it's a bad pick because we don't know what a bad pick is until games are played. This could 100% be a case where, yeah, Mac Jones is the guy. They draft Mac Jones. We don't like it. But Shanahan gets his hand on this clay ball and molds it into what he wants it to be, and the Niners are good. We can't say it's a bad pick day one. So let's avoid that. With that, all that being said, Jason Aponte, my pick is Justin Fields. I think it's Justin Fields. There's too much there. I really like even, we just made the joke of the quarterback collective. There's just there's just too much there for it to not be the pick. And
it's too quiet around Fields. It's too quiet. It's too quiet around Fields. Now it's like absolutely no. What do you mean absolutely not? How did you get to a point where it's not absolutely him?
And Blay, yeah, you make a good point. I can't say that about every quarterback. And my thing is I don't want to overreact to any pick in the draft. I'm not going to say any pick is bad at the time. Thank you, Tyler. Great point. Yeah, and every pick, I don't want to judge day one. These grades on draft night, the Jaguars, they're going to get an A+. They're going to get an A+ on all these mock draft or these draft grades because they drafted the guy that literally any team would draft, and we're going to give him an A+ before he even plays on the field. Mac Jones, he'll come in, he'll get a B- for the 49ers if that's the pick. Justin Fields, he'll get a B because he's not Mac Jones. Why did they do this? None of it matters until they play on the field. So, yes, I understand you could say that about every guy drafted in the NFL draft. I'm just saying in the world we care about, the San Francisco 49ers, I don't want to hear people say Mac Jones is a bad pick until 2 years later, until 3 years later when we know for sure whether or not it's a good or bad pick. But long rant short, Justin Fields is my pick at 3.
Absolutely. Yep. And Frank the Tank, thank you for this question. Did you guys catch what Colin Cowherd stated about the Niners stating all this smoke is to cover them in case the quarterback they do take is a bust? I think I kind of alluded to that when John Lynch's comment about, well, I defer to Kyle is almost like, again, it's almost just like, hey, man, this guy picked him, like I didn't want to, so, I mean, I definitely think that there's something to it. And remember, again, put your tinfoil hat on. Colin Cowherd works for what company? Fox. John Lynch, before he was general manager, worked for Fox. Just put
and who knows? Together. Who knows? Maybe John Lynch and Colin Cowherd have never met too. That's full possibility as well. But yeah, everything's a smokescreen. Everything is like that. That's my thing. Everything's a smokescreen at this point. Ravi's got a question. What if Mac plays like Burrow? Are we still upset? Oh my God, the questions came in so
Where is it?
fast.
Yeah,
it's a little high.
Robbie, yeah.
Are we still upset? No, nobody's like this is the same thing of the people who say, oh, well, when the Niners don't trade Garoppolo, don't be excited when he wins a Super. No, we're 49er fans first. Yeah, we prefer Justin Fields. We are happy.
But we're not anti-Mac.
Listen, I'm gonna tell people this, and I hate to make it, I hate to be this guy. If at 5:45 Pacific Standard Time, the San Francisco 49ers select Mac Jones, right? And Jason and I, we're gonna be live. You can come talk to us. I'm gonna go to bed the same way I do every night. I'm gonna wake up the next morning the same way I do every day, hating my life. No, that's a joke. Not wanting to go to work. That's what I want. I went a little Kyle Shanahan there.
Right.
But yeah, we won't be happy that the guy we thought would be best would be picked, but we're not going to just automatically assume Mac Jones is a bad pick. As I said, we have to see what he looks like on an NFL field. So I'm okay. I even forget the original question. Yeah, what if Mac? No, nobody's going to be upset if Mac plays like Burrow and makes it to playoffs. If you're upset, you're just grumpy. That's really my thing.
Yeah, I don't understand, just because I show a little bit of passion, just because, I voice my opinions, doesn't necessarily mean that if draft day while we're doing our show, they say, Mac Jones is the pick. What are you guys expecting me to do? Flip a table, go crazy? I'm just going to sit there and start analyzing. That's what if I'm trying to be an analyst, if I'm trying to move my way up there, you have to take a little bit, look, again, we're 49er fans, right? And I want to make sure that I'm very clear when I say this. We're 49ers fans. But this stuff doesn't affect my day, and it doesn't ruin my week. I've got bigger things to go. Look, if Justin Fields is the pick, can I go to my landlord and say, bro, I don't need to give you rent this month, man, because Justin Fields is the pick, man. Fields is the pick. Or Mayo Mac gets picked. Bro, I'm in a bad mood, man. I can't pay you rent. Or, Averly comes in the room, Daddy, I want some apples. Man, I can't give you the apples because Mac Jones is the pick at 3. Come on, guys, be real with yourselves. It's good to be passionate, but come on, man, this doesn't affect our lives. Don't let's not get out of that mindset.
Listen, the thing I'm most excited about Mac Jones being quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers is I get to say Snack Jones every week. So
yeah, and that's good. And we're going to have fun with it. That's why before this show, I tweeted that out. One thing about me, I'm going to have fun regardless. And y'all are not going to take that from me. You can try, but I'm going to have fun every single day that I'm on Twitter, every single day that I get to analyze the 49ers, every single day that I get to wake up, I'm going to have fun. I don't know. Do with that what you will.
Now, will the mood be a little different Thursday if the pick's Mac Jones? Yeah, we'll probably be talking about how Shanahan better hope this is right because my thing is Mac Jones is the safest pick. Let's be honest. Mac Jones is the safe pick. I've said this even before the Niners had the 3rd pick in the draft. Mac Jones has the highest floor out of all these guys. Mac Jones is the guy that I feel most comfortable plugging in starting day one, and I'm pretty comfortable with it. However,
God, please look, Cali Bill.
I think that's a joke. Before we overreact, I think he's joking. Cali Bill saying if we pick Mac, my whole family not eating for a week, stuff like that. No, we're not going to do that. But yeah, Mac Jones has the highest floor. It's just I don't think his ceiling is much higher than his floor, and so that's where my issue would come in. It's I feel fine with him starting week 1 in 2021.
Yeah,
but is he going to be much better week 1 2024? So that's my thing. I really think. I really, really think that Justin Fields, he can go as high as he wants, and Trey Lance probably too. I know Trey Lance is very green, and he has the low. Trey Lance probably has the lowest floor out of everybody, but I think his ceiling, I don't even think Trey Lance's ceiling is defined at this point. I really think it comes down.
Nobody can explain to you upside and ceiling. They can't explain that to you. They just use it when they don't know how to explain it as a way to say that they like their guy. Sorry, Andrew.
That's me. Hi.
No.
Do we see any other questions? Joel, I kind of like this question.
We wanted, okay, so
the 49ers wanted Watson. That went south. Isn't Fields similar to Watson? Jason, I'll let you address this one because you know more than I do on this.
I don't, but he is. In the way that they play, but I feel like he's just a more accurate Cam, somebody who actually is a pocket passer. Cam like to run a lot. That's the comp that I get from him. And on this podcast, we talked about him being a turbo Dak. So in terms of what Watson can bring to this offense, yes, I understand that, but I'm not going to directly comp him to Watson. I'm going to say he's turbo Dak, and that's what I'm just going to stick with. So, yes. And remember, when in the first press conference, when Kyle was talking about all of the quarterback selections, well, Stafford's available, Watson's available, all that stuff comes down, and now you have to make a move. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's something that they definitely wanted Watson. And if you're asking about who in this draft probably resembles Watson the closest, it's no doubt Fields, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't think it's a 1-to-1 comparison, but it's more of a like 2.5 to 1 comparison sort of thing, where it's like you're kind of right, but not quite there. Tech 49er just popped up.
Rob,
did you
talk about? Yeah, we did.
Did you guys already talk about how John made sure to state that he is in charge? Yeah, we definitely talked about that. We touched that at the front. Yeah. What if Zach Wilson is there? Are you sure he is better than Fields? I like this question actually, because if Zach Wilson is there at 3, there is no choice because Justin Fields is not going to be available at 3.
Right. Yeah.
That's what that is. Mac Jones isn't going 2. Trey Lance isn't going 2. The Jets probably going Zach Wilson, but if they don't, they're going Justin Fields.
One thing I know is that Justin Fields, or I mean, if Justin Fields goes 2, then it's Zach. But I nobody but Justin Fields or Zach is going 2. But I mean, it's pretty much written in Sharpie at this point that Zach is going 2. Like he's like shopping for apartments over here. Steve Young's already told you that they've courted him and his entire family at BYU. Now, let me guess. Steve Young doesn't know anything about BYU either, right, guys? No. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Zach at 2. I'm pretty certain about that.
What does the Y in BYU stand for?
Brigham Young University.
Huh. Interesting. Isn't that the same last name as Steve?
Oh, Young? Now you're putting the pieces together.
Whoa, weird. Steve Young knows a little bit about BYU. Do you guys think Wilson is better than Fields, though?
You want to take this one first, Pasquini?
Oh, man. So my very uneducated guess, I'm not a huge – well, I like watching tape, but like I don't know what I'm watching 100% of the time.
Don't say that.
I think – well, I mean, I'm just letting them know. So so here's my thing. So when I say what I say, people can't be like, oh, Andrew said this and he's wrong. I'm defending myself pretty much. I think that they can be about the same. Really.
Hold up. I'm sorry. So you're asking me if Steve Young has intel on BYU?
No.
I'm just asking a question.
No, sir.
Let me ask you a question, Andrew.
Jason upon.
So wait a minute. So Steve Young having intel at BYU is not the same as people having inside for the 49ers. Thanks for playing and thanks for coming.
Jason.
We need to get off the stream already, I think, at this point. Good God.
Let's go back to the original question before we let Bleh throw this off. I think they're going to be about the same, really. I don't think you can go wrong with either Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields has more of an upside, if that makes sense. But I really think that both can be about the same player. And that's at their peak. Jason, I'm going to let you take this one, though, because you, as I said, you watch more of this stuff than I do. So your answer is probably a little more.
No. So look, I think that Justin Fields has a chance to be the number 1 quarterback here. Would I bet on it? No, because Trevor Lawrence is the safe bet. With Zach Wilson, the things that concern me is sometimes when I watch him throw, he's throwing from the biggest pocket in the world. No one's near him at all. Guys are running wide open. He does have amazing athleticism. The throws that he makes reminds me of Rodgers light. I see all those things. But I've watched Fields do tough things against better competition. And that's really what it is. And it's 2 years of it. Zach Wilson's only played 1 year, right? And again, these are all, one knock on one guy is not a knock on another. One guy has 17 starts, but that's bad. One guy has 17 starts, but it's not a concern. But why is that? It's all the same thing. So when it comes to Zach Wilson and Justin Fields, yes, I prefer Justin Fields over Zach Wilson. And there's still a world where Zach Wilson is the number 1 quarterback, that winds up coming out. This is all part of the process and all part of the evaluation. Right now, if you were asking me, I've got it Lawrence, I've got it Fields, I've got it Wilson, got it Lance, and then I've got it Mac.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of going back to what Shanahan says too, like when he keeps bringing it back to the five quarterbacks, I don't think there's really a wrong choice. I think there's more wrong than right choices, but I don't think, as I said, I don't think if Mac Jones is the pick at 3, I don't think it's particularly the wrong choice. It's just what Shanahan felt was right at the time. And that's where we get into the definition of more wrong, because I think picking Mac Jones at 3 puts you closer to the hot seat than going Fields at 3, So I think there's 5 guys that you can pick and be comfortable with. It's just some of them are more attractive names than others. That's what it is at this point. So I don't know, man. We're getting there. We'll be back Thursday. And Thursday, man, Thursday, we're gonna do a live show. We're gonna be going the whole first round, likely if not near the end of the first round.
I don't know, man. If that 1300 hits on that third pick, man, you might have to just take me off of the stream because
you might have to go. Yeah. But for that, it's not. We're not going to put that on the podcast stream. This is going to be a live only because we're not going to put a 3-hour podcast on the stream. And we really want to make it conversational too. So if you guys want to be part of the conversation, we're going to be more than happy to talk. Obviously, the start of the show is going to be hotter than the end of the show because the Niners have the third pick. We're going to have more opinions on that, on the 49ers pick. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be fun. We'll be a little looser than we usually are because as I said, it's not going to be an official podcast. It's just going to be I don't know. We're just going to be here talking, and more than happy to include your guys' conversation.
Nah, hold up. Let's go, Dion. Yeah, we about to be out in Cleveland, acting up on the stream and everything. But once it's done, yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I really am. Honestly, like I said, no matter what, I'm gonna have fun. I'm getting to go cover the draft over there, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. I don't really care what's about to happen. They could take a punter at 3. I'm still gonna have to be here and analyze this. So if you guys are looking for a meltdown, look somewhere else.
Yeah, look somewhere else. Jason, do we want to talk about Saturday or do we want to save Saturday?
Yeah, do you guys have any questions about Pasquini's second pro day aside from the fact that, I dropped like 4 or 5 passes while I was there? And I mean, other than that, honestly, I think that it was amazing. That we got to go to the stadium and link, and it was the first time that Andrew and I met. It was a blast, man. And we had so many people that were willing to participate. It was a fun time, man. Again, if you're not on Twitter having fun, then what are you doing there? Like, why are you on the app if you're not going to have fun with us, man? And we've been having a blast. So,
yeah. Breaking news per me. Levi Stadium is really big.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot bigger than I thought. That was the first time I've seen it. And I want to, but before we go, and we could talk about it more Thursday, just because we're going to have more time to talk about it Thursday. If we want, we'll have more dead time. I do want to shout out everybody who went. Shout out me. That sounds weird. That's not what I meant.
Shout out you at all. Shout out to you.
Shout out me for throwing dimes. No, shout out obviously Jason flying across country to be my wide receiver. The man landed in California at 2 a.m. our time. And he landed 2 a.m. our time Saturday and left 6 a.m. Sunday. So he literally flew out to be my wide receiver. Tim Sprinkles, huge shout out for being my quarterback coach, man. He was out there like working on my mechanics. Without him, none of that. Man, Brian, both of the Denim Dungeon guys. Oh my God, he throws a football so effortlessly.
Tim has a hose,
I can talk. Brian, obviously coming out, both from the Sacramento area. That was cool to meet them. Go check out the Denim Dungeon podcast if you haven't. That's part of the Blue Wire Hustle.
Blue Wire Hustle too.
Jordan, Splash brother, or Splash cousin, excuse me. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for really coming up with the whole idea. We got stories that'll never see the light of Twitter or the podcast.
Oh, no, they won't. Weekend. No, they won't.
Brad at the SF Niners. It was amazing meeting you for the first time as well. Like all these people I met for the first time. 901, thank you. Like just all the guys who came out.
Yeah, man.
Kazi. And I feel real bad because I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. So I'm gonna
you're not missing anybody. So it was Kazi, Denim Dungeon, Brad, Jordan, you, me. That's it. That's everybody.
Yeah, got them all. So really, really appreciate it. And as I said, if we want to talk about it, we'll talk about it Thursday. But absolutely. That'll be it. We'll officially say the pick at 3 for the Sprint Right Option podcast is Justin Fields. If we had it our way, we don't. We'll see how Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch want it. So we'll that'll be the conversation point Thursday. And hey, man, come in and we will have some fun. We'll enjoy this. We'll try and keep it as loose as possible. And Jason has one more thing he wants to say.
Speaking of fun, who had the best question of this entire that entire press conference?
You mean the guy who admits all the quarterback questions at who the Niners are going to take at 3 asked about Mike McGlinchey's 5th-year option?
Yo, if that doesn't solidify Grant Cohn as being a legend, honestly, man, I don't know what's going to do it for you guys. Everyone is asking quarterback questions, and this man still found a way to troll Mike McGlinchey in the press conference. I really don't understand how you guys don't get it with Grant, man. I swear. I heard his voice come through, and I'm like, here we go. They actually let him ask a question, and that's the question he asked. And he also broke some news because John Lynch let you know he is picking up his 5th-year option.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Hey, huge. Hey, man. Listen, I didn't recognize the voice right away, but I heard McGlinchey's name said. I'm like, oh my god, Grant got a question. Yeah. So that's amazing. Jason, as you're dying of laughter, as always.
No, I'm sorry. Let's go Niners.
I can't guarantee that anybody in the world will be alive Sunday. I just can't.
Yeah, we don't know. Apparently.